What's up, everybody? This is Missing Texture Sticky Tack. Welcome to episode 12. Here we are, guys, back at the space elevator. Looks like our versatile frames are already taken up for phase 3, which means I can probably take these ones and put them in the space elevator as well. Okay, so what else do we need? We're going to need modular engines, adaptive control units, just like vanilla, and then we have solder wire, cobalt plates, and packaged HCl for you smarty pants out there. Alright, so first thing I want to do is get all these extra parts off of the space elevator belts, and then just update the whole space elevator depot for phase 3. So let's dig into that. Alright, so we got our signs updated, and I cleared off the belts so that there's no backup of older parts. And I also deleted all the tractor routes that are currently bringing parts over, with the exception of the versatile frames, and then my tractor that's running coal from up here to down there. So we're off to a nice fresh start for phase 3. So you guys spoke on the poll that I posted a couple weeks back about what we want to do next, and like we talked about in the last video, quantum crystals did take the lead and win, followed by slugs. So that's going to be our plan, is dive into quantum crystals and or slugs kind of with it, because you'll need the energized slug slime to mine the crystals, so kind of hand in hand. Anyways, before we do any of that, I really need to get my power situated, because we've been pushing up against that for several episodes now. So we'll make a quick biowater plant and then dive into quantum crystals. So I found 3 of these biological water nodes up in the top left of the map that I didn't know existed. And fortunately, my early game power guide, which if you haven't watched, you should go check it out, includes a map for exactly how to do 3 biological water nodes. So what I'm going to do is make a blueprint that I think is going to be very handy and slap down our new power plant. And we'll have, I don't know how much more, a lot more power than before. Over double? Pretty sure. So I think this is it. This only took a few minutes, like 10, 15 minutes. And it's 5 things. So 3 of these is 1 node. Oh, I need to pipe in the... I need an inlet for the water. Okay, so it's almost everything. And I need to set up... So I just need to set up the inputs. Like, all the other stuff is done. This might be really smart to do right now. So is that it then? Am I ready? After I configure these smart splitters, I think so. I guess the only thing I'm really worried about now is how big of a footprint this is actually going to take up. I'm going to need 9 of these total. So let's figure that out. So this is a little bit bigger than I thought, 24 by 24. Or at least it looks bigger compared to everything else. Like my big factory was 20 by 40, I think. So either way, everything should fit on here real nice. And really all I need to bring in is the... I'll have to bring in compact coal, so I'll have to convert bio water into compact coal. But bio water and water. That's it. And we got water everywhere. This spot's kind of OP for power. Wish I would have known about it earlier. But it's all good. Let's see how this works out. So I probably want to do this way. No, I want to do this way. Ooh, I want that nudge tool for this. So that's it right there, right? Looks like it. That's it, right? Like, putting this down, I feel like I'm forgetting something. This seems too simple. Okay, so... Oh, no. Oh, whew, never mind. The reason that happened is because my hover pack connected to one of these things, so this grid here is technically blown. Oh man, that scared me. I guess I should probably get used to it. It's gonna happen 8 more times because I have 8 more of these to put down. Okay, there we go. It's not the prettiest thing, but it does look very rudimental. Regimented? I don't know. Looks pretty clean. It just doesn't look good. So let's build our little compact coal factory and get our water going. And then hopefully we're done. And it'll be I'll be close to an hour is how long this took me after I made that, including making the blueprint. It's not too bad. And that I had to run back and forth for parts a few times too. Blueprints were crucial here. And there we go. Water extractors are in. I don't know how or why. I mean, it's got to just be the blueprints and just not the having to repetitively put down the generators and stuff. But this one seemed so much easier than my first one, and it's bigger. It's 50% bigger. And it could also be just because of now that I've done my first one, I have this one, and it's like I've done it before. But yeah, that's it. There is one thing that I'm kind of proud of. I'd like to show you. Again, really haven't played since update 4, so I've never used these valves before. But I used them. Basically what I did is, at the very end here, going into the last set of burners and boilers, I combined all 4 pipes into one, and I'm basically just using these valves for the directional. I'm pretty sure I don't even need to do that here. I think it would just work. But just in case, and we can do something we never did before. Last thing we gotta do is pipe in some bio water. So let's do that. Oh no. I also need crushed stone. So I'll have to find some of that. Man, this stuff is never as easy as I think it is, no matter how many times I do it. Alright, well, see you in a second. Alright, here comes our crushed stone. I found a pure rubite node up on the top of yonder there. Here's where we are. There's yonder. And just sunk the rubite that's coming out, and we're collecting the crushed stone. There's actually 80 per minute that comes out, so I'm doing a sink storage up by the node, so that there will be like a backup supply in case I ever delete power for that miner up there. And you know what? Now that I'm saying that, I'm gonna actually just power that from this circuit here. So right now I'm powering it from my old slug factory, and I know I'm gonna delete that slug factory, and I guarantee that I will delete that slug factory, forget that that miner's off that power grid, and shut all my power down. There we go. Now this miner's power is fed off of the main power, or whatever you want to call it. So this is going to take a while to get going. The first fluid conditioner is getting started right now, but uh-oh. Oh, I already screwed up. Oh no. Wait a minute. Darn it, I didn't program these. So front, that's going to suck. Needs to be leaves, and right is biomass. Jeez. There we go. There's some compact biomass. That belt will be 100% full. A tier 3 Mark III belt, 100% full, is what 5 assemblers do. So it's pretty busy, and it's not something you can... Well, I mean, you could make it work early game with this many. but it's a lot easier to not and wait until you have all the higher tier belts. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and watch this. I'm just going to assume that I did everything right and come back to it in a little while. Just my 2 rows last time took several hours to finish. So if I give it a little while, an hour or something, I will come back and see how everything's going. So also, I had mentioned a little bit ago that I think it was going to be about an hour total to set this up. It ended up being about 2 hours. Most of that was because of the water extractors, and I had to run back and forth, I want to say 5 times or 6 times to get more materials. So 2 hours to set this up, and that's probably like worst case scenario, honestly. Not too bad. Alright, I'm also moving the hub in here. I would have to keep running down and trying to get back up here all awkwardly. It's just all up in one place. Alright, now that we got our power at least situated to hopefully get us through the next tier of power, fuel, or whatever it is. And we got our hub up here. Everything's looking nice and pretty. It's all in one spot. We have quantum crystals and slugs to worry about. Pretty much at the same time. So I think what I'm going to do to start is make a bunch of these portable miners and slap them down on the quantum crystals and at least start working through the trees slowly. And then we'll figure out what we want to do about the dirt. Hey, we still have our miner on here from our teaser episode that did not get as many views as I thought it would. I thought a little short 2-minute teaser video would get a lot of reaction, but it did not. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Maybe it sucks, I don't know. I liked putting it together. Get out of here. There's wildlife in this game. I tell you. Tell you what. Believe it or not, I actually got 30 of these down, and there's room for more. Room for a lot more, like probably another 10. But this is already going to be annoying enough to have to pick up individually. Alright, these miners have been running for a little bit now. Let's go for our first unstable crystal harvest. Need more. Need more crystals. There we go. We have more than a full container. That did not take very long at all with 30 of those miners. So that should be enough to at least get us through the first tier or two. So we can try to make a better plan of what we want to do. Alright, let's get this quantum crystals going. So this will unlock our stabilization frame, and then you probably do a stabilization frame and a quantum crystal. So I need a lead frame and zinc plates, which are fine. I'm producing a bunch of both of those to get stabilization frames. And then, yeah, unstable quantum crystals and stabilization frames. Gives me stabilized quantum crystals. So, we need 200 of those, some lead frames and some bronze frames, so that's all pretty easy. And I get the quantum cable, the nexus, the cable, Faxit cable, a pole for the cable, wall pole, server rack. The server can be built into a storage rack. Sorry, the server can be built into a server rack and increases the storage capacity of the network. To increase the bytes in the network, place hard drive in the server. And then Faxit input processor, processor unit to increase the speed for store items from the Faxit receiver. And then the output processor, so input and outputs. So my biggest thing is that I believe these inputs and outputs are used for teleporting items. So I can take items here and I can belt them into an input processor. So an input processor would be here. And then it would go into the Faxit system. I'm air quoting the Faxit system. And then you could output, like I could take an output processor right here and then drop a belt and it would teleport from A to B. I'm not going to do that. I might make one exception down the road for the energized slug slime, honestly, because to get energized slug slime here from where I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing my slugs, up here, it's going to be a long run. So I might cheat my rule there, but other than that, I'm going to use the Faxit system explicitly for stocking my inventory. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there, but you can use it to basically automatically input items into your inventory. Okay, so what do we need? We need the stabilization frames, which is lead frames and zinc plates. So I'm just going to grab a ton of them, as many as I can grab, probably. And we're back. So, I don't want to do this. Just have this feeling I'm going to need a bunch of space even for the temporary stuff. So we might as well just plan on it, right? And whatever I put down is still going to be not even close to enough space. Alright, so we need stabilization frames. Let's look at it for the third time. Assembler, zinc plates, and lead frames, which I happen to have all these zinc plates and lead frames. Okay, here we go. Stabilization frame. 30 zinc plates, 5 lead frames. So I should run out the zinc plates first, I believe. Let's get going. And then out of the stabilization frames, we need to do stabilized quantum crystal, which is another assembler, unstable, and the frames, so we can go backwards. Like this. And then we can do this. There we go. Stabilization frames. They're black. They might just be untextured, actually. Okay, don't judge me. Just getting these going. 10 stabilized frames per minute. This is only making 5, right? Yeah, so technically I could do 2 assemblers here. So right now I'm only making 5 of those per minute. 5 of the stabilized crystals. I need 200, so 40 minutes. Here's the situation. We don't do things small around here. And we also don't do things in even ratios. So we're going to do a little bit of clipping and make this happen. Don't judge me. Whatever. It's like our original Tier 1 parts factories from like episode 1 and 2. But it is what it is. We need this. There. Now we should be making 10 stabilized per minute. Okay, so while we're doing that, I'm gonna want to figure out where all my closest dirt nodes are to my existing slug factory, assuming that I want to do my slug factory there. The only other thing that I'm thinking is possible is to do... Oh, there's a hole in here. Use my truck stops that I had for the future. These future truck stops, if you recall. Future. And then really, I can use like the smart plating one. I actually am only going to be using 2 truck stops right now. The versatile frames and the coal. So the rest of them are available. So I could always ship truck in dirt into here, into these truck stops, and then do my slug stuff back in the area where I basically use it as my training grounds. This whole area. It's been, I want to say this has gone through four revisions of stuff, maybe 5 now. Do I like that idea, doing the slug stuff here? I don't know how big the slug stuff needs to be. I feel like it's not going to need to be that big, because you're only doing 1 slug at a time, right? So if I can ship all the dirt over here... Yeah, so here's all the bog, so it would be very easy to just belt it up here and make a truck stop up on this part of the road. And like I said, the peat down there, I would just turn that truck station into a peat truck station. Dirt is the only real question mark. I'm not 1000% sure where it is. I guess we could find that real quick and make a full game plan. Okay, so here's my jar of dirt. Oh yeah, there's the road. This is gonna be nice. This is gonna be perfect. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna truck dirt into the main factory, and then we'll just have to figure out if we want to build in our little training grounds area permanently, or if we want to just accept our fate and know that we're going to need more space than that and build somewhere else over there. Phew! Alright, here they are. This first one is our new Pete truck stop, X photovoltaic cell truck stop. I also dropped on another miner to keep the sand going for the photovoltaic cells, just so we keep that production going. I have no idea if I'm going to need them for something, but it exists, so why not keep it going? The second one here is going to be our bog, and this is just a little pit stop off the side of the highway here. It took a little bit of work to get these little angles to line up pretty much perfect, but I think it looks good overall. And then this third one is our dirt. The only concern that I really have about the dirt is that it's only 60 per minute right now because it's impure. So if we need more, we'll have to find another dirt node. There's one kind of close where my old slug factory is, but it's not going to be the prettiest thing to belt it all the way over. But it would work. Overall, that wasn't the worst thing I've ever done. I kind of enjoyed the little bit of decorating. I like the little bits. I don't like the entire buildings and the painting necessarily. But our infrastructure did get a little bit bigger. We had to extend this road and obviously had to add the pit stop for the bog. My plan's going to be to just take the coal drop-off over in the big factory and split that output over to the dirt drop-off truck stops into the fuel. So these trucks that are grabbing and dropping off the dirt will be fueling up over at the factory. So we kind of set ourselves up for success there. But now that this is done, let's get back to quantum crystals. So we should be all set on our stabilized quantum crystals in the frames. Yeah, we have tons. Okay. Hopefully I brought everything else that I needed. I did. Cool. So we've got several hundred of these. And how are we looking on everything feeding into that? Okay, we have a ton of crystals. How are we looking on frames and zinc plates? Zinc plates, we're less than half, so that's okay. Ooh, those look cool. Ooh, those look really cool. Nice. Okay, so let's unlock this. Okay, so let's unlock the milestone. Get all the basic materials for quantum crystals. Alright. We have the FACSIT terminal and quantum cable adapter. Different connections in a network system. Don't really know what that means, but we can unlock it as soon as I get QuickWire. I need some smart plating, smart plating, smart plating. So I'll grab a bunch of smart plating. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 smart plating, 500 QuickWire. Okay, so we'll unlock these and then we'll start playing around with what we want to do. So the first thing I'm gonna need. Okay, so let's unlock this first. FACSIT terminal, quantum cable adapter. I don't really understand the adapter. Fluid drive and fluid server. Increase the item capacity by 1 fixit byte. Server can be built into a server rack and increases the storage capacity of the network to increase the bytes. Okay. Whatever. So I'm really not going to need fluids because I'm not going to be using the fluid teleportation. I just am going to be using this to fill my inventory. You know what? I lied. Like I said, I might cheat that rule for the slug slime. But now I shouldn't have to after I set up my truck routes for dirt. So there's item drive Mark II. So this is item drive Mark 1. So item drive Mark 2 by 2 fixit bytes. So instead of being 50, it's 100, right? Yes. Okay, so it's literally just the same thing Mark 2. So let's figure out what we need to do. Okay, so we have a whole tab of facts and stuff. That makes this probably a lot easier to figure out. So Nexus is definitely the main hub that we need. So, holy crap, it's big. Oh no, we need cryolite for the coolant. I forgot about that. I think it might be okay though, because I can build the Nexus over by the cryolite and then do all the other items here, because I don't think you have to feed any items into the Nexus, right? Yes, you just build the stuff. Ah, shoot, okay. That's fine. Okay, so so kind of what I'm thinking is, as long as coolant doesn't require anything crazy, which is literally just water and cryolite. Oh, and then I get salt as a byproduct too. So this actually works out really good, because right now I don't have anything making salt. So the Nexus just needs coolant, as far as I'm aware, as something like consistent. And then everything else is just like a one-time you attach the whatever it is into the system, or you build it, and then it's there forever. There's no like needing to feed something into something else besides coolant. So my plan is going to be to build the Nexus over here by my quartz stuff, because that's what I need for coolant. Probably down by where the diamonds are, down by this water. And then I will be manufacturing all the items that are going to be placed on the Nexus over here, where I'm at, probably realistically probably over here, when I do slugs and everything. The reason for that is I don't just need the energized slug slime for the miner, but I noticed that there's also here, quantum cable needs a blue slug. Cable is perfect to transfer an insane amount of data. So yeah, that we unlocked that here. Yeah, here. So I guess for now I want to start making stuff. So the Nexus, I have everything. Input processor increases the speed for store items. Output. So basically what these two are is you can put them on your Nexus, and I think there's Mark 1, 2, and 3s maybe. But it allows you to start inputting items into the fax system at a certain rate based on how many of these you have, and then same thing with output. It allows you to output items from the fax system at a certain rate. Now the server rack, quantum cables and quantum cable adapters. So the server rack you put down, and then you put these item servers on it. It kind of like goes on the side of it. I don't know, I forget, but you need these to store items. And maybe I think it was one fix-it byte is like 50 items. It was definitely in the man tree where I saw that. Oh, it was the drive. Item drive is what it said. Increase capacity by 2 fix-it bytes, which is 100 items. I think the best way to really figure this out is just to go over, plant the Nexus down, start feeding it some coolant, and start sticking things on the Nexus. Let's go take a quick look at the power plant though, make sure that's booting up good, and then we don't have to worry about power anymore, and we can just start slapping stuff down and just having the time of our lives. Well, critical blunder. I had screwed up some smart splitter things, and this has not even started really warming up yet until just right now. You can see things flickering green and red. So we'll come back here next episode. Sorry guys. See you in a week.